Well, it's been an excellent start to the season. Now we're 5 games in for Coventry City. We've got 1 point, no wins, -6 goal difference. The thing is, right, it doesn't look great, but I really don't think that it's as bad as it seems at this stage yet. I mean, if you think about what's happened to us over the off-season, it's been ridiculous. The pitch issues were outrageous, cost us money that we shouldn't have spent. I don't want to speculate on the exact terms of the deal, but I've read in some places, I can't remember where the sources came from, that we paid for the repairs to the pitch and they're going to get the money back in deferred, well, not deferred, but basically in lieu of rent payments for the ground, which is a fair enough deal. I mean, it saves Wasps money in the short term if that is what happened, because they don't have to fork out for the cost of the pitch. But also, we get our pitch back, we can play the games early because our season obviously starts before theirs does, whilst having a place to play and not actually having to pay for the pitch out of our own pocket, because we'll recoup the money back later down the line. The problem really that we've had instead of monetary issues for me, I think the transfer window actually wasn't that bad. We kept we kept all of our big players in. When we lost really was Dom Hyam, but we're not a solid player for two years now, so one of them was going to go at some point. If it was going to be anyone, Dom Hyam, I think, probably was not on the list of big red flags if we lost. I think the big three, obviously, you were Callum O'Hare, Gustavo Hamer and Victor Gyökeres, but it would just as easily have been a problem if we'd lost the likes of Ben Sheaf or Matty Godden, or any of the big players from the midfield at all. Jamie Allen would have been a loss if he'd gone as well, for example. So it's not been that bad a window. We have brought in some quality in Casey Palmer. I think what our main problem has been to do with the pitch, but not because of the monetary side of it. I think it's just a lack of rhythm. What we've seen so far is a team that looks like they've not played together for a long time, which really they haven't. But also, you look at the results on face value, the results aren't good. But we should have beaten Sunderland, and Matty Godden missed an absolute sitter, and obviously that would have put us level with 20 or so minutes to go, maybe a bit more. And then obviously Victor Gyökeres scored that fantastic equaliser at the end. So we could have won that game 2-1. We should have beaten Millwall. We gave them 2 stupid goals to get back into the game, and then they scored their winner. That was down more to goalkeeping error from Simon Moore than it was the actual defence. So you've got to give the team a little bit of slack for that as well. But also the whole game, we gave Stupian 3 ridiculous goals. It's the worst hat-trick I've ever seen, because the ball just kept hitting him and rolling into the back of the net. Near post one, I think, was one of them, which is really poor. But in general, it's just been a team that's not been able to have the same sort of rhythm that we started off with last year. And again, I think that's because every other team has played more games than us now in a short space of time, so we're playing catch up a little bit. But the quality is clearly there. It's just individual errors. It's the same as when our first season we came back up. It was just stupid errors from the back and silly hospital balls in midfield that just caused us problems. If we can cut those out, then we'll be more than fine. But looking ahead to our game on Saturday against West Brom, on the face of it, again, it's West Brom. They always beat us. But I think this isn't the West Brom team of old. I think that we are in with a chance of this. You look at the bookies, they've got them the favourite. You look at Sky Bet, they're on 23-20 to win as of today, Monday. But we're only 23-10 to win. But it's not that bad. It's quite close. The way that Steve Bruce has got them playing hasn't exactly brought them a lot of joy so far this season. They've only picked up 1 win out of, I think they've played 8. I'll confirm that in post. But they're not the West Brom team that they were last year, where they really threatened to batter teams and just didn't quite manage it. They're not even threatening to batter teams at the minute. We've scored in most of our games up to now. We lost 3-2 to Hull and Millwall. It was 1-1, obviously, with Sunderland. We had a goal disallowed at Norwich, which was a perfectly fair goal. Obviously, I'm not claiming that we scored in that game because it was ruled out, but we have had the ball in the back of the net in most games this season, whether it's counted or not. So we've got the capability to score. It's just we've got to stop giving them stupid goals. Is that a wasp? Stupid goals. It's been our downfall in the first 5, but it's not time to panic yet. I think that's the big thing. I've seen a lot of overreaction on Twitter from fans, which is fair because we've been on a permanently upward trajectory over the last 5 years. So the first time we've had a bit of a wobble, it started to concern some people that some of the stuff I'm reading about, we need to sack Robbins, it's a joke. It's at 5 games in, and you're on a sack. I know we've got 1 point, but come on. We've got another 10 games to sort of see where we are. If we're still in the bottom three by sort of the start of November, it's time to get a little bit worried, I would have thought. That's 2 months down the line from now. So if that is the situation and we start to play teams again for the reverse fixtures, then perhaps we've got an issue. Right now, I think we just need to relax, get behind the boys still, trust that we've got, plenty of winnable games coming up. And when Callum O'Hare's back, we'll see how we get different teammates, because he's the engine of the team. He doesn't stop running, and we seem to have missed him quite a lot. But also, as the team gets more rhythm together and catches up on those games missed rather, then we'll have a better idea of where we actually are.